All right. Hey, everybody. What's going on? Welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning back in. Nick here, founder of Lead Mining and founder of Founders University. So I'm super excited to resume the story. The last story basically was about my life up until I left the restaurant industry. Okay. And I'm going to pick up right where that left off. All right. So the how I end the last story was I just walked out of my restaurant career. All right. I was unemployed for 9 weeks, which is forever, especially when you think of like working. I was working 70, 80 hours a week when I quit. To go from 80 hours to zero felt really weird. I felt really worthless. I had a lot of free time. I didn't know what to do with it. And I started leaning on my camera, if you guys remember that part of the story. So I was an amateur photographer at the time. And I was like, all right, so the camera is the closest thing I've got to replacing my salary. Let me go ahead and put all this weight on my camera. This was a mistake. Overall, I'm glad I had the experience, but I really ruined a passion of mine, which was photography, because I put all this pressure on it. I tried to make it make me money, all this good stuff. It was pretty intense. So anyways, I take a lot of camera jobs. I think I got like, it's funny looking back because I felt like I was struggling. But if I look back, I think I got like 15 camera jobs, and like 9 weeks is 2 months in 1 week. Right. So it's like I really kept busy. One of my friends hired me, John Kundig. Again, shout out to John, to be his marketing guy, 12 bucks an hour. I would show up with my cameras and my drone and fly that around. And one other thing I was doing is I was applying to every job I thought I could do. This was back in the day when Craigslist was a big deal. So I applied to a lot of Craigslist jobs, and I applied to every job that wasn't a restaurant. I knew if I went for a restaurant job that I would get it. And I didn't want to work in a restaurant job. I wanted to spread my wings. I believed I could fly. I believed I could touch the sky. I thought about it every night and day. So I spread my wings and I flew away. Um, but that's a true story. I was like, I'm not going back to this shit. Okay, I got to do something else. So one of the job applications I came across was very detailed. It's Werebear. Hey, Werebear. What's up, dude? Um, but one of the jobs that I ended up applying for, this really unique application process, and it had all these rules inside the application. It was really cool. And they had me jump through all these hoops. Like I had to send an email and the subject name was carrot, not new job applicant, right? And so it had all these rules, like make sure you answer these 4 questions, 500 words minimum. It had all these tests inside the email. Well, I read the whole email. I submitted it. 2 days later, I get a phone call. They said, do you know we've had over 80 applicants and you were the only one who listened to the email, who listened to the application, who followed all of the steps and then did everything properly? He said, so we're calling you, blah, blah, blah. And then I have my first interview with them. Okay. And they loved me. They absolutely loved me. They said, hey, we'll call you on Monday. I said, great. Super excited. Monday comes and goes. Now it's Friday. I'm stressing. I'm 9 weeks unemployed. I need a fucking job. I need my life to continue on its path. I think I was 30 years old. I mean, what's funny is I didn't even think about age at the time, but what a unique precipice for me to be experiencing. 20s are now gone. I'm 30 and I'm on to something new. It was crazy. So then I didn't hear from them. It's Friday. I sent an email and I said, and I've never followed up with a job in my life. I'd never wanted to come off as needy or anything. If they wanted to hire me, they would call. That's what I've always told myself. So I messaged them. Hey guys, we had such a great interview. I just wanted to reach out and see, if you guys, oh my God, they reply instantly. Oh my God, Nick, we totally forgot about you. You're hired. Can you start on Monday? Okay, I kid you not. And I was like, oh, hell yeah, I can start on Monday. Now, this company was a real estate education company. And what they did is they taught people, I didn't even know what this was at the time. They taught people how to wholesale and flip houses using direct mail. That was their main strategy. They had about 14 mentors. They had like 30 employees just on the customer service side, not the sales team. Okay. And then we had this whole operation. I had no idea about any of it. They'd hired me to be a event coordinator. So I threw all the events. I planned them. I executed them. The way I saw it was I've been running restaurants for 13 years. A restaurant is just an event that goes on for 15 hours a day. I could definitely throw a 3-hour event or a 2-day event or whatever. And I was right. I was fucking amazing at throwing events. And I threw over 15 events for this company. One of them was a $6,000 per person event that had up to 20 people in it. Another one that I helped create was a 6-person event, $15,000 each. For that one, I wrote the curriculum. I created the plan. I told the owner where to be. I sourced the talent. It was crazy what I was doing. Fresh out of the restaurant industry, and I'm throwing events that cost as much as weddings. I was like, what the hell? I remember when I was planning my first $15,000 per person event. I was like, Nick, like weddings cost this much. This is such a big deal. We've got to create something that everyone's going to love. And I created this amazing system. I called and interviewed each attendee myself. I found exactly what they were struggling with, and I made sure that during that 3-day event, that each person got exactly what they were looking for. And I just made sure whether we got someone on the phone or a Zoom call or we flew them in, we made sure everyone got their answers. It was awesome. So I threw these events, maybe it was like 25 events in total over like a 1.5 year period, maybe 2 years. It was great. During this time, if any of you know who Dean Graziosi is, the guy I ended up working for, he created a partnership with Dean Graziosi. So I did such a great job throwing his events. He said, hey, you got to meet Nick. Nick is the main. He throws all my events. He'll teach you how to throw this event for yourself. I meet Dean Graziosi. I meet his entire executive team, and I work with them for 2 months on exactly how to throw these great events that I've been throwing for, it's about a year now. So now I'm 1 year, literally 1 year removed from my restaurant career. And I'm working for one of the biggest names in real estate. It was just mind-blowing to me that I was able to accomplish that. And that's when I knew that was my confirmation from I'm glad I left that restaurant shit. I'm glad I left that behind me. I knew I was better than what was going on there. And within a year, it was proven to me as I'm working for one of the biggest names. I don't know if you guys know, but he is now Tony Robbins' CEO. Okay, that's who Dean Graziosi is. He runs his operations for him. I mean, it's awesome. And so that's the guy that I was working for. Now I end up getting a big promotion. And I end up getting promoted to what they called the Director of Student Services, which for those of you who are watching, think of it more of like a director of fulfillment. I wasn't in sales. A lot of people think I have a sales background. I don't. I have a service background. Okay, I've done a lot of service to people before. My restaurant industry was all service. And that's one of the reasons why my company is such amazing customer service, is because I've been in service my whole life. I've never been in sales. And the difference is sales sometimes can have a reputation of telling you whatever you want to hear to get you in the door. But fulfillment or service, that's the guy who's supposed to make sure that you're getting everything that makes you happy. So they're kind of different. They're on different sides of the spectrum. Now, one thing I learned is I sell through service. So I talk about all the great customer service. I talk about everything we're going to do. Now, people happen to think I'm good at sales, but the reality is I'm great at crafting an amazing customer service experience. That's one of the main things that I have a huge skill set at, which is why I've decided to create this university for us. Now, I'm working for Dean. I just got a promotion. I'm now the Director of Student Services. So every person that gets sold into this company, I have to create now the system that creates their satisfaction. And I did exactly that. what happened was when I first took over this company, they actually had amazing resources everywhere. It was awesome. They offered everything anybody could need. But what they didn't do is they didn't tie it all together for the customer. The customer had to go knocking on doors and making phone calls and then discover these services rather than knowing that they were there or being spoon-fed the fact that these services were available to them. So one thing I changed, and I'll tell you guys the secret right now, is I created an onboarding system. What does the first 18 days of this purchaser look like? What are they experiencing? What happens day 1? What happens day 3? What happens day 5? What happens day 7? What happens day 9? What happens day 11? What happens day 13? What happens day 15? What happens day 17? Okay, every step of the way. And I did that on purpose. I created most of the things with the every other day pattern. And that way the student didn't feel overwhelmed. They had time to digest. Who did they talk to? Who did they meet? What emails are they receiving? Are we confusing them? Are we adding clarity? Guys, when I installed this system, the company's refunds dropped by 50%. Dropped. Their retention rate went through the roof. No one's asking for refunds. Everyone knows all the resources. Everyone feels like they have the best customer service ever. And one of the secrets I did is I had each employee call them and introduce themselves and their skill set. Hey, my name's Bill. I'm your advisor. I'm going to help you with A, B, and C. So if you need anything like that, store this phone number I just called you on. Call me back anytime. I created these bulletproof systems. This is one of the things I call it, a bulletproof system that almost never failed. We used automation using the CRM, and we used people to execute the phone calls. So they would sign up, the automation would email the people, hey, you need to call so-and-so. By the end of the day, bam, called. And then the first person that called, you know what they did? They booked the next call with the next person. It was brilliant and it worked amazing. So that was one of the main things I did in this executive career that really skyrocketed me. Then after that, direct mail was the main strategy that they taught everybody. And direct mail is good, but it's expensive for a newbie. You know, if you're new to real estate, direct mail leads on average cost $300 to $600 per lead. If you're brand new, you might not have the budget to waste that money. And you know, a lot of these students didn't. The education program was very expensive, between $6,000 and $30,000, depending on what you chose. And not everyone necessarily has another $10,000 in direct mail to do after that. And a client of ours called me up one day and she was crying and she said, Nick, I just sent out my last $3,000 worth of direct mail. And my phone didn't even ring once. She was so distraught. She said, I'm out of money. I've got nothing else. And now I have no phone calls. I don't even know if I put the right phone number on the postcard. And I remember thinking, $3,000, you know, there's got to be a better way. And I sat there and I thought, and I thought, and I thought, and I said, well, what's free? You know, what can these guys do for free? And you know what the answer was? It was use their phone. Use their phone. That's what they can do for free. All they had to do was use their telephone and they could hand dial all the leads. So, well, how do we get the leads? How do we get the phone numbers? So I started teaching all the students to pull lists, get their phone numbers, and hand dial. Don't even plug it into a software yet. Call the first 100 people by hand, see what happens. This is what I taught everybody, because the direct mail was draining their energy. It was draining their bank account. It was draining their attitude. And I couldn't let that happen. That's their satisfaction. As an executive, it's my job to ensure satisfaction. So I changed the system to calls, direct calls, not even just direct calls with the cell phone, not even using a software online or anything. And things started changing. People were closing deals with no money down. People weren't spending $3,000 on direct mail anymore. There was an easier way to do it. Now, if you had the money and you wanted to direct mail, go ahead and do it. But if you don't have the money, use this strategy. Get the list, get the phone numbers, call the leads. This was exactly what I created. Little did I know, this was the beginning of lead mining. So we ended up throwing 4 events based around cold calling. And each event, at least one person closed the deal out of 30, 20 people. That's a lot. That's a lot. 1 in 20 every time you have an event to close a deal off hand dialing. It's insane. It's insane. So whenever I was working at this place, my job was coming to an end, and I did this brilliant thing. And I think they were going to fire me, actually. Some people in the sales guy didn't like me. Some other people didn't like me. I came from the restaurant industry. I don't really fit in an office too well. Office doors being shut, that's weird to me. There's no doors in restaurants. You walk right in. Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing with that tomato, buddy? You're handling that tomato wrong. People hate that shit in an office, right? So things didn't work out very well for me as far as the interpolitics of other leadership. My employees love me, but the other leadership did not. And I understand, especially the more I know about office politics. And the office, they want you to stay in your lane and shut the fuck up about everything else. And half the time, even in your lane, they still want you to shut the fuck up. But you guys know me. I don't know how to shut the fuck up. So that didn't go over too well. So I think they were going to fire me, but they needed me. I created this great system. I turned around the cold calling, and the customers loved me. So I went to them and I requested to work from home. Why don't you let me work from home? You guys don't like me around here anyways. I'm just walking around pissing everybody off, right? I'm not even kidding you. This is almost the conversation, the exact conversation. I'm just walking around pissing everyone off. Why don't you let me work from home? You can even cut my pay. That's what I said to them. Cut my pay. Send me home. They seem to, I don't think so. We'll think about it. Yeah, we'll let you know. The next day I get called at 7 a.m. 7 a.m. Ring, ring, ring. Hey, Nick, good news. We're going to cut your pay in half, and you never have to show up again. When do I start? Starts today. We want you to show up this morning, sign this paperwork, get your stuff, and start working from home today. Boom, motherfucker. I went from $70,000 a year to $35,000 a year. Bam, just like that. But you know what? I was only working 5 hours a day. My job was a system. I didn't have to show up every day. I created a perfect system. And as long as I showed up when I was supposed to, that's leadership. As long as I showed up when I was supposed to, everything was perfect. So now I'm making half the pay, but I have 35 hours a week at my disposal. It was beautiful. And one of the deals I made on my way out was, I remember telling the CEO, well, look, we teach real estate investors, right? Well, I'm going to go home and I'm going to become a real estate investor. So when I'm going to go live in our online community every day and do cold calls live in front of the whole community. This is a true story. That was a part of my deal for going home, that I'm going to be a real estate investor live and be a live case study that works for the company that's doing it from the inside out. Every day for 3 months, I went live and I cold call people for 1 hour a day. That was my 5 hours a week commitment I was telling you about. So 1 hour a day, I cold called everybody. Bam, bam. Well, all the students started watching me cold call. A lot of them started loving it. 2 of them called me up and they go, oh, hey, I see you cold calling, man. I don't have the time. Do you think you could call for me? Yeah, I can call for you. Yeah, I can pay you. Yeah, pay me. $200 a week. Bam. One client, $200 a week. So now I'm making $35,000 a year plus $200 a week. And in case you didn't know, there's 52 weeks in a year. $200 a week is $10,000 a year. Let's go, motherfuckers. Okay, so bam. Guess who's making $45,000 a year? Just like that. Boom. Another client calls. Boom. $200 a week. Bam. $55,000 a year. Guess what? The same hour that I'm cold calling live, I'm cold calling for these clients for. So I'm not even spending, I'm still working 5 hours a week and I'm making $55,000 a year. This is how my story started. This is why I wanted to share it with you. And I remember calling my parents and I remember saying, guys, I just made $1,500 this week and I only work 7 hours. I can tell something's changing in my life. Something's happening. This is coming from a guy who used to work 70 hours a week for $70,000 a year. And that was my peak. When I worked at IHOP, I made $38,000 a year and worked 70 hours a week. That was $725 a week that I made. Okay, to work 70 hours. It was crazy. It was crazy. My life was literally changing before my motherfucking eyes. Excuse the language, but it's not going to stop or slow down. Now, I'm on to something. I have 2 clients. A third hires me. A fourth hires me. Now, each client is $10,000 a year. So I have 4. That's $40,000 a year. Okay, that I'm making. 4 clients, $800 a week, and I'm making $35,000 a week. So I'm making $75,000 a week right now, and I'm working 7 to 8 hours a week. It was amazing. Then I go online. I'm the only employee at this point. There's no one else working for me. I'm doing all the calls. I'm going live. I'm taking the notes. I'm sending the leads to the clients. I'm doing all of it. I'm sending the invoices every week. I'm following up on Facebook. Hey, did you want me to dial for you this week? I'm doing every inch of it myself. This is why this group is called Founders University. Because I founded this shit. I built this company brick by brick. I didn't start with the team of employees. I didn't start with the team of VAs. I did all of it myself. Every last piece of it. Now, I'm doing all the work. I then make a Facebook post online inside this group, wholesaling houses full time. I'm actually banned in that group right now because I was making more money selling my lead gen than the owner of the group was selling real estate education. Okay. And I'm still banned in that group. But the funny thing is that guy sends me clients. Weird world we live in today. But I make a post inside this group, literally, hey guys, I don't normally do this, but I just want to let you guys know I'm offering all American cold callers. And that's all we did back then. We pulled lists, we skip traced them, American cold callers. That was it. I only had one package, 500 dials, $200. That was it. That was the only product I had. List, skip, 500 dials. Bam. That's it. I make this post. Hey, feel free to let me know if you're interested. And I'll send you our 12 bullet point flyer to tell you why we're awesome. And that day is a true story. That day, over 250 people commented on that post. Each person put their email. I ended up staying up till 2 in the morning. I emailed individually all 258 people, every single one. Then I go to sleep and I wake up the next day. And I can't wait to check the post. Oh, I bet it's over 300 comments now. I log in, post was deleted. Boom, gone. Well, where'd it go? What happened? It's against the rules in the group. I didn't even know that. I called the owner of the group. Hey, bro, what happened? Why'd you delete my post, dude? I was making millions. What's going on? Oh, Nick, that violates the rules. Lucky for you, I was on a boat all day yesterday and I didn't see your post till this morning and I deleted it right away. And the reason why I'm sharing this piece is because if I would have said the day that post went viral, if I would have said, I'll send those emails tomorrow, I'll send them tomorrow, I would not be here today. I would not be netting $1 million in my business today if I would have waited till tomorrow. You know why? Because it was all gone tomorrow. Literally a fugazi. The whole thing was fucking bullshit. If I would have waited till tomorrow, I would have lost so much, literally millions of dollars. We've been in business for 8 years now, starting in January. I'd say all the years combined, I've done over $4 million in sales, maybe even 5. And I should actually add that up to figure that out. It's a great idea. But I would have lost all of that because I waited till tomorrow. I'm telling you this for a reason. Stop sleeping on your fucking dreams. Okay? You got to take action today. Doesn't have to be massive action, but it has to be action. You don't have to quit your job. Okay? But do something if you want to. First of all, if you're happy, you're happy working. Like, I love that. I want you to be happy. This course, this video is for people who want massive change in their life. And that change might be entrepreneurship. That's what this is for. If it's not, I'm not telling you to quit your job or become an entrepreneur. Look, I want you to live your life and be super happy. But if you're watching this, I imagine you're trying to grow your life. So take action in some direction. What does it look like? What are we doing? Maybe we're watching this video. Maybe that's taking action, and changing our life. But I took massive action, and ever since that day, my life changed. The next day, even though that post was, I signed up 20 people the next day. I made $9,000 the next day. And I called my boss immediately at my 5-hour a week, $35,000 a year job. This was a huge mistake. I called him that day and I said, I quit. I quit. I couldn't wait to quit. But honestly, looking back, I really could have kept that job for a lot longer. I didn't have to do that. But I don't think we necessarily aligned energetically, right? So I left the first chance I got. And ever since that day, ever since those 250 emails were sent, this is true. Lead mining in our first 6 months, we did $370,000 in sales. And our first full year after that, we did $676,000 in sales. The next year, we did $750,000 in sales. The next year, we did $830,000 in sales. The next year, we did $1.15 million in sales. The next year, this year, we're going to hit $1.5 million in sales this year. Okay, all from that email. That's this year. That's not combined over the last 8 years. Those are our individual year sales each year. And that's what taking massive action and focusing on the customer experience will get you. We have an extremely low marketing budget. Our marketing budget is less than 1% of our sales. That's how low our marketing budget is. And we're growing by almost 50% a year right now. And that's why I decided to make this Founders University course. Because to me, some of these things feel like a fluke. I can't believe I'm here. I can't believe I used to work so hard for so little. And I'm not saying that you make a little if you make what I used to make. What I'm saying is, now drawing on those memories, life feels so easy. I used to have to get up, take a shower, get dressed, shave, do my hair, get in the car, drive for an hour, work for 13 hours, bus tables, sweep floors, pick poop up off the floor, clean up someone's puke if they threw up. If someone called in, I had to do their job for the night. I did that for 13 years. I can tell you what, my life isn't that hard now. Not even freaking close. But every day, I'm grateful because I have those memories. So if you're going through something and you wish things were different and you're mad at yourself because maybe you've waited too long to take massive action, throw all that shit away. Understand that these memories that you're building right now, while you're unhappy, they're going to lead to so much happiness in the future. You're going to be so fucking happy because you're struggling right now, because you're doing things you wish you weren't. As soon as you stop, Now, 8 years in, I'm still full of gratitude because I worked so hard for so long. So these are some of the lessons that I've discovered through my journey. And now a lot of you guys might know what my business does, but I'll tell you briefly. We serve real estate investors and realtors, and really even all entrepreneurs that cold calling and texting will serve. And then we generate leads for them. So we call and text people and ask them if they're interested in your product. If they say yes, we send it over to you the second they say yes. Boom. That's what we do. We do it at a very high level, at a very professional level. I'll go into my training and my processes and my softwares and everything over this course. But I wanted to share with you guys the core story. So as we get into the course, you'll see some of these foundational beliefs come to light. Some of these things I've shared with you over these last 2 videos, you're going to see them in full execution here in a second. Over these next couple of videos, you're going to really see, oh, wow, these are fundamentals. So I'm excited to show that to you guys. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad I'm getting this started. I've been fired up about it. And damn it, we're going to create something great together. So thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the story. I'm going to go play some video games. Have a great Sunday.